From the heart of Music City, where legends are made and the lights shine the brightest, the stage is set for the ultimate showdown. Tonight, horsepower meets honky tonk, and only the strongest will conquer the high banks of Nashville Superspeedway. Get ready because the roar of the engine is about to become the new sound of the Music City. Welcome, folks, to NR Truck Night America live here from Nashville Superspeedway. Just 6 races remain until the chase, and the battle on the cut line gets tighter every week. Tonight, these drivers take on the final Speedway race of the regular season. Last weekend, we saw Landon Laudenbach dominate the Queen City 300, scoring his second win of the regular season. But who will rise to the occasion under the lights in the Music City? We're about to find out. I'm Charlie Davenport here in the booth, ready to call to action. It's a crucial night for these drivers, and every point matters. Buckle up. It's time to go trackside at Nashville Superspeedway. And now we are trackside here, folks, for our race preview show. And let's start off with our race info. Almost identical, if not identical, weather to Charlotte last weekend. 71 degrees, 9-mile-per-hour winds going southeast here in Lebanon, Tennessee. 1.3 mile track, our last traditional oval on the regular season before we head to a couple different types of tracks. Worldwide Technology in Mexico City. Some different types of tracks up ahead. 75 laps, nearly 100 miles around this track. Going to be a very interesting race. We'll see who comes out with the win. Peter Onjak heating up at the right time on the season, so we'll see if he can capitalize this week, as his usual guys he battles in these races are not starting too well. But as we get into our standings, Landon Laudenbach, after winning last weekend, dominating at the Queen City 300 with leading 188 laps out of 220. He's got a pretty good lead on Sergio Vittoria now. If he can keep up a good performance, he might lock himself into that regular season championship. Behind him, Vittoria had a decent drive, wasn't doing too good. William Ayers also, he kind of struggled last weekend. A lot of struggles between this top 12. Ayers struggled, Morley struggled, Dixon was out of that race. Skylar Taylor, Roxy Angelo, Carl Young, they all struggled in this race, but Nathan Stapleton, Peter Onjak, Matthew Hubert all stood out, logging top 10 finishes, so we'll see what they're able to do. But this is a points battle coming into this race. So Jordan still sits on that cutoff line. Carl Young jumping up there as well, the Las Vegas winner. So we'll see what he's able to do. Roxy Angelo on that cutoff line as well. But these guys in this top 7, top 8 are starting to distance themselves from this cutoff line. So if they can keep up good performances, they'll see themselves in a pretty comfortable position going into the last race of the regular season at Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. And now, as we start off with our drivers to look out for, it is going to be the pole sitter coming into this race. Peter Onjak in the 38 for Front Row Motorsports, second in the 3 of the last 4 races. A DNF at Memphis, but Onjak is heating up at the right time. The 38 team has looked really good in these past couple weeks, the past month and a half actually. They've had a great performances, and now starting on pole here today with Landon Laudenbach and Sergio Vittoria starting near the back after some terrible qualifying performances. We'll see if this 38 of Onjak can finally get his first win on the season. And as we get into our second driver to look out for, it is going to be the guy starting right alongside him, Brandon Haynes. Once again, another driver that's heating up at the right time, finished third at Charlotte last week, battling with Sergio Vittoria in the final couple laps. So this Nice Motorsports team is starting to find some pace, and they got a couple of favorable tracks up ahead. He's doing pretty good on speedways right now, and coming up ahead is Mexico City, so he's pretty good at road courses as well. So if he gets a win here today and Mexico City, we can see this 45 team sitting right on the cutoff line, finally getting back into the chase, as he's starting to look right outside the chase. And this 45 can finish good here today, we can see Brandon Haynes start to put his name in that playoff picture after that rough stretch he had after winning the pole at Vegas. Then our third driver to look out for is this 13 of Patrick Findrop, making his 4th start, starting 5th here today at Nashville Superspeedway. This 13 had a great performance last week at Charlotte. He's been making a name for himself these past couple weeks. Hasn't had the greatest performances, but 15th in his debut and finished pretty well last week. I'm looking out for this 13 team to have a lot of pace here today. Findrop starting 5th, trending upwards in his 4th start. I'm excited to see what the young driver can do here today, because this 13 team is really starting to show their strength after getting rid of Gabriel Candamil right before race 9. So, yeah, this 13 team is going to be someone to look out for here today. Starting on that inside line, so he does have the preferred line going into turn 1. We'll see if he can make up some early spots. Then our 4th and final driver to look out for is this 02 of Agent Gill, starting 14th here today. So not the greatest qualifying performance, starting mid-pack, but sitting on the cutoff line. He needs a good performance here today, so we're going to see if he's able to drive his way through the field and get back over Bjorn for Jordan and Carl Young in that playoff race, because this O2 team, after winning Sonoma, just hasn't been running too well. So we'll see what he's able to do. I'm pretty sure DNS last week. Yeah, he had that very bad wreck with Ryan Little at Charlotte last weekend, and it's just been bad luck from there. So he's got one win on the season, but can he stay in that playoff race? He hasn't attempted every race this season, making his first start at, I believe it was Atlanta or Las Vegas, so he does have a little bit of a disadvantage, but this O2 team has really impressed us this season, and now heading into the final stretch before the playoffs, can they finally get back on that roll they were heading into Sonoma? And now, folks, that is wrapping up the pre-race show in this race. It's going to be a lot of storylines coming into this race. Can that 71 and 92 carve their way through the field after some bad qualifying performances, or will this 38 of Peter Onjak finally get his first win on the season and not have any worries? So it's going to be an interesting one, but let's head down and get the stern command for this race.
Drivers, start your engine!
As you can see, folks, the trucks are fired off and ready to go. It's time. You can see on the left side of the screen, your starting grid sponsored by Auto Parts for Less, but 75 laps around Nashville Superspeedway, and here we go. Peter Onjak leading us to green. He's going to have Brandon Haynes on his outside. The green flag's out for the Ally 400. And you see coming out of turn 4, it's going to be Peter Onjak with the lead in this race. And he's got Brandon Haynes right behind him. And right behind him as well is going to be Nathan Stapleton. Stapleton starting pretty well, I think was 5th here today. I might be mistaken, 5th or 4th. He's 3rd right now. Patrick Findrops came up to 4th place. So guys are starting to move their way throughout the field. Sorry for scrambling words there, folks. But now look at the 7, Matthew Hubert, looking to make a pass on his teammate of Jerry Chen. He's not going to quite get it there, but they're starting to single file out, but there's a lot of racing going on behind. See Davenport making a pass on that 23 of Nicholas Torres, getting his nose in there. Let's see a lot of grooves run at this track, but that inside line just not quite getting the turn they want in the corner, and that's going to allow the 91 to get around the outside of this 43 now. Now Brandon Haynes trying to chase down Peter Onjak. Got a great start, but can he hold on to it? Haynes finished 3rd last week at his home track, Charlotte Motor Speedway, so this 45 team is starting to figure it out at the right time, but it's going to take a lot for this 45 to get around this 38 of Peter Onjak. He's known as a great defender in this series, so Onjak just coming into this race, finished 2nd in the last 4 races besides Memphis where he DNF'd. If he gets the win here today, what a sigh of relief that would be, but can they keep it up if he gets the win? Because you don't want to peak too early, so maybe finishing 2nd is good for the 38 team so they can still climb in points, but who knows at this moment, because right now he is driving away and building a little bit of a gap on that 45 of Haynes behind him. See Davenport right now sitting right outside that top 10, starting 11th and sitting 11th currently. He's got Rogel Dorn up ahead. Dorn needs to get back in this playoff picture. He was there for a while, but now he's starting to fall out of it. In front of him, Nicholas Torres faring pretty well for himself right now. That 5 of Dixon and the 77 of Jerry Chen, they all DNF'd last weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chen had the 3rd best speedway finish going into that race, but he had a valve issue, and we saw that issue also reflect on his teammate of Matthew Hubert, who was right back on the pit road right after the 77 retired from that race. So We'll see if Spire runs into any issues here today, but you see this 45, I think, is starting to chomp down that lead. Yes, he is. So this 45 of Haynes now, can he get back to this 38? It doesn't look like it in that turn. He didn't get quite the rotation he wanted on the truck there. So that 38 still jumping out to a pretty good lead. We'll see as they come back around what the time looks like. That 45 did not have the greatest turn one that he would like to have. And yeah, he's going to lose about 9/10 to the 38 there. As we look to the back of the pack here, Manny Canamel Jr. not running too well. Bajorn is sitting on that cutoff line. He needs to figure something out. But you see this 88 of Clinton Buchanan using that high line, running really well. He started last, but he's already paving his way through this field. Check in with Landon Laudenbach here. Our points leader didn't start too well, sitting 15th currently, and he's driving his way through the field. And so is Sanjo Vittoria, who just passed that 41 of Travis Rawlins for 12. So maybe these guys are able to drive through the field and challenge that 38 of Peter Onjak. But right now, it's not looking like that's going to be the case, as now that 92 needs to chase down that 43 of Davenport. Haynes and Onjak trying to build a little bit of a gap to that 17 of Nathan Stapleton in third. Can Patrick Findrop maybe make a pass on the 17 eventually? But it doesn't look like he quite has a pace right now. But, oh, you see that run he gets out of that turn. He's trying to gain some time on that 17. That 19 of Ryan Little running pretty well. Had a terrible wreck at Charlotte last week. Was able to come out unscathed, but the onboard on that wreck was literally insane. But they come back around. This lead that this 38 has is starting to get chopped down. We'll see when they first come in for the first green flag cycle of this race. We'll see that'll be a factor in how this one goes. We saw that be a huge factor at start last week. That 71 made a huge undercut, and fortunately that kind of ruined the race for a lot of people because he lapped the field a couple of times besides the top three. So that might be the case this weekend. We don't really know. If it does, then that's honestly some guys' fault. They just don't have the talent to keep up. But this 45 of Brandon Haynes still staying in tow with this 71, this 38 of Onjak. But we'll see if he's able to get it done. Because that one for that 45 team would really propel them up through the standings. Right now, rounding out your top 10 is that 91 of Raul Godorn. But look at this 91 of Vittoria. Starting to close in on this 43 Davenport. Does he look for the pass on the front stretch here? Doesn't look like Vittoria's trying to set anything up quite yet. He might get a good run coming on this backstretch, but he's got Landon Laudenbach catching up to him as well, who made a pass on that 41 as well. So these two are going to climb their way through the field. Laudenbach was second fastest in practice, but something happened in qualifying to that 71 team, and they just didn't make the right adjustments coming out of practice. So come back to the race, it looks like they've reverted back to what they were running at practice, and now they're running pretty well. But you see, this 92 really closing up on that 43. Does he make the pass, though? It's going to be very close if he does get to him here, but right now, that 71's getting closer, and this 92's not making up too much time on this 43 up ahead. Move back up front. Haynes still maintaining quite the same gap he's had to this 38 all race. Onjak, that front row motorsports team, they had an up and down season. They're one of the big three that hasn't won this season so far. We've seen him be there at every speedway, but he just hasn't had the pace to get the win down. But the way this race is shaping up so far, but we're only 15 laps in, we still have 50 laps to go at the line. This 38 team is looking quite good. At Charlotte last weekend, we saw him have a chance to win, but he just didn't have the pace for that 71. He was starting to catch up, but in that final 2 laps, he just tried too much. Well, didn't try too much. He put all the effort he could into that 38 truck and took a bad line and just unfortunately drifted off, and that led to that 71 winning, which it was a deserved win. Laudenbach dominated that race from the start of the race to the end, so it's not, I guess, not undeserving for that 71 team. But you did see this 13 of Patrick Findrop have a great performance there. Now he's trying to close in on the 17 of Nathan Stapleton here, who Stapleton was sitting on that cutoff line, had a great performance, so now he's sitting pretty well, but sitting third here currently right now. He needs to maybe get the move on and chase down his 45 of Haynes so he can get even more points. And you see now, look at Landon Laudenbach looking for the pass on Vittoria here. He maybe thinks he can get a move done on him. That 71's not able to get the move done. Sorry for that awkward cut there, folks. But, yeah, this 71's still trying to look for a move on this 92 of Vittoria to get past him, maybe catch up to this 43. But they don't look like the fastest trucks here so far. But this 38 still holding out his lead. But I'm curious, when do these green flag stops happen here, folks? Because this is one of our shorter races. We are moving to shorter races this season. So these races are going to become more hectic at the beginning as these guys are going to put their all into these races to catch up. But right now, that 45 of Haynes taking a very interesting line, running that middle line that hasn't quite been working for him here today, as he's losing time some laps but gaining time some laps. So he's just staying right in the grasp of that 38 team, but it's just not doing too well. I mean, he's running second currently, so he is running well, but doesn't quite have the pace to keep up. We go behind. Spire truck's still running well. Spire brings some fast trucks every weekend. They have 4 combined wins on the season, but this 77 of Jerry Chen just hasn't been able to get a win yet this season. We'll see if it happens here today. He's going to need a lot to go right as that 45 and 38 are driving away, but don't count out the 77 team. That Red Bull scheme, they've been running well all season. Unfortunately, ran into bad luck last weekend, but I think they do have the truck if they can get things figured out to win. And now look at Vittoria and Laudenbach making the pass on this 43 Davenport. It looks like they finally figured it out, and we'll see if Davenport fights back on the outside. Doesn't quite look like he's going to get the run there, so now the 92 and 71 of Laudenbach are now going to try to track down Royal Dorn, another McNally racing machine. So they're in a McNally sandwich right now, but can they get past them? Or maybe the 71. Oh, look at the 71. Laudenbach got really loose going to that turn there. That's not what you need from that 71 truck. Drove it in really hard there, and it does not pay off. But as we catch back up with your leader here, it looks like this 45 of Haynes is starting to figure something out. But let's ride on with our Chevrolet Performance on board, and let's see if he's able to get it done. As we rode on board with Brandon Haynes there, you can see starting to catch up to some early lap traffic in this race. It looks like it's going to be that 99 Manny Canamo Jr., that 56 of Hallie Anderson Jr., and that 81 of Trevor Vaden. So some of these guys not running too well, and they might go a lap down pretty soon unless pit stops start here in the next, I want to say, 5 or 10 laps, because right now it's not looking too good for those lap trucks up ahead. You see this 38 and 45 are starting to drive away from the guys behind them. About a 6-second gap to third and beyond this 38 has. So we're already seeing that this 38 has a fast truck. It's not going to be close racing every week, folks, but right now this 45 has been able to keep up with them, but this 38 of Onjack is on a heater. But this track looks pretty tough to drive so far. You see some guys getting loose. We rode on with Haynes is on board. We see he had to really drive it in that third wow, I can't speak here today, folks, sorry, but he had to really drive it in through turns 3 and 4 and got a little bit loose, so these trucks are a little tough to handle for these guys, but they're keeping it going. We look at faster running on these front stretches, about 175. So they're running pretty fast, not about 180, but here we go. Pit stops are starting here. That looked very sketchy for a second, but that 38 is coming on to pit road, and he's going to have Brandon Haynes following him right behind. And that 77 of Jerry Chen is going to stay out, it looks like. So as we have guys coming down pit road, we'll see if that 45 can pass the 38 on pit road, but let's catch up with the 77 of Jerry Chen and see what strategy he's running. Running quite long, so it'll be interesting to see if this is the right call. That undercut's been very powerful this season, but yeah, he's going to come in one lap later, so he's not going to push it too far. But as we look at our race on a pit road, we'll see who comes out with the lead, because this is going to be huge for the race, because if this 45 gets the lead, can he hold on to it? Oh, here we go. That 45 is going to get a good run coming off of pit road, and these guys are going to might be battling here pretty soon. So it is going to be the 5 of David Dixon who now has the lead, but does he put that 38 a lap down? I think he did, unless he comes back around again and does it, but they're not on the right side of strategy, I don't think. Apparently I have a stuttering problem here today, as this has been pretty shaky commentary to start this race, but now we ride with this 38, and we'll see, yeah, he's going to come back around here, so we'll see if he gets the lead, but that 27 is already a lap down of Sebastian Lopez, so it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. So Brandon Haynes, we saw him close up coming to pit road. That 45 team had a pretty fast stop, but that 38 team had a faster stop. They were even coming off the pit road, so Haynes still trying to track him down here. They come back around. Where does this 5 come out? So the 5 hasn't came out of pit road yet, so yeah, it looks like this 38 is going to get the lead, but they come up on their first lap traffic of the day. It's going to be Roxy D'Angelo, I think, who's running currently 35th. So sitting on that cutoff line, that is not the performance she wants at all, and she might be on the struggle bus coming out of this race. But now we'll see if Onjak's able to manage this lap traffic in this one. We're going to have to take the middle line coming into this. Haynes going to take the lower one. It's not going to pay off now. And now he's going to be stuck behind that 81 of Trevor Vaden. So now he's going to get stuck behind him, and that 38 might have to set his marks and drive away now. Now that 45 on the inside, not taking the preferred line. Haynes still struggling. He's got to run that outside line, but he didn't fall that 38 through the middle there, and now he's struggling. Now coming up on that 18 of James Daniel is Onjak here. That 45 of Haynes now, though, he's stuck behind this 81 of Trevor Vaden, and he might not have the pace to get around this lap traffic, unfortunately. He's going to take the lower line again, but does it pay off this time around? You see him check up in the middle. He just has a terrible entry into turn 1, and he's not been able to adjust it at all going into the corner. And now that 81s might close up and clear him once again. So that 45 is allowing this 38 to drive away now, as he has not been able to adjust throughout this race. As they come up on lap traffic, they're lapping a good amount of guys now. That's what the pit strategy does to you. If you run it too long, you're going to struggle. And now this 15 and 26. Oh, that 26 of Mateo Castillo now. He actually gets a great run, and he's going to try to pass that 15 of Fogelman in the process of fending off that 38 of Peter Onjak, who's the leader. But Haynes right now, he's a sitting duck behind this 81, as he's not been able to make any moves. Taking that inside line, which has not been preferred. We saw that at Charlotte. He took it a lot on that inside line, and it wasn't working. And once again here at Nashville, it looks like he's trying to take that inside line once again, and it's just not, yeah, you see, that truck just checks up in the corner. He's got to figure out a new line to run, and we'll see if he gets it done here soon. But that 26 of Castillo is now going to be a lap down as they work on Reggie Fogelman. So now Onjak's in the right position. He's got a lot of trucks in between him and that 45. Haynes still unable to get around that 81 of Aiden. So This is going to be on Jack's race to lose, it looks like currently. Up ahead, we're going to have that 198.11.2. It's a lot of lap traffic ahead. And we'll see a good amount of guys get lapped here today, likely. But that's just unfortunately how it is sometimes. Guys just don't have that pace to keep up in. I've seen guys do get lapped, and they do get lapped. I mean, there's not much you can do. You don't want it to be a drafting race. But now, as you look behind that 45, does he finally get around this 81 of Trevor Vaden? Haynes has the second fastest truck, I feel. I don't know what he's doing right now. He's taking terrible lines that hasn't been helping him at all. And he's still battling with this 81 of Trevor Vaden and losing a lot of time. That 45's crew chief, he needs to come on the radio and tell Brandon, you need to figure something else out because that inside line isn't working in turn 1. But he does finally get around that 81. Now we have two Turner Motorsports trucks side by side, that 57 and the 81. But now up ahead, that 26 of Castillo, can he close up on him? Now closing up on Skylar Taylor, who's had a horrendous past couple races, sitting 28th currently. He's now going to be lap likely as we come to lap 40 at the line. So nearly halfway done with this race, and now Skylar Taylor, he's just not having the best performances we saw last week. Him get lapped. He's fast in qualifying usually, but you got to put that qualifying pace with the race pace. And I've said this once, and I'll say it again, that one hasn't had the race pace at all. And you can be fast as you want in qualifying, but if you don't have the race pace, you're not going to get it done. And you see that 45 just losing time once again, as that 81 is still catching up. And with Findrop and Nathan Sableton lurking behind, that 45 might be in a vulnerable position here soon if this 17 and 13 can work throughout the pack. Yeah, taking that inside line. I don't know if it's going to work here. He's going to stay up close to him, but still, once again, Haynes has got to figure something else out. He doesn't quite have the pace on that inside line. He might have to run the middle and figure something out. I mean, there's a lot of lines you can run here at Nashville. You can run high, you can run low, you can run middle, you can run anything, honestly. But let's try to get past that 26 once again. We'll see if he gets the move done finally. But it's going to be tough, but it looks like, no, he's going to keep his foot in it this time, and that maybe is what he needs to do when he's working that inside line. Keep your foot in it, and you'll get past some guys, and he did it that time. You saw he didn't check up as hard, so that 45 maybe trying to figure out what he needs to do. And you see Nathan Stapleton and Findrop getting past that 56. You see Jerry Chen not too happy with that 56, getting his nose into him there and getting past him. So Chen saying, get a move on here, guys. We got to get close to this 45 and 38. So that'll be something to watch here, because Chen been very vocal after struggling last week at Charlotte when he was the first driver out, but now running 5th currently. He's got that 13 and 17 ahead. He could be someone to look out for to finish pretty well. He'd finish well if he finished 5th right now, but he might have some more pace than that 17 and 13. But now Haynes, he's got that 18, 15, 198 ahead. That's a lot of trucks in between him and Onjack. And unless Onjack gets stuck behind someone here, he's going to be just cruising ahead. See, all the way up to probably about, I'd say 20th may get lapped here, which, I mean, you just got to keep up here. But Monica Pato just not able to. She's struggling on these speedways. A very good short track racer, her and Bjorn Jorgensen, respectively, themselves great short track racers, but they don't quite have it down at the speedways. Going to go to the inside of this 29 now, try to get past her, but that looked like it could have ended pretty badly there. It doesn't this time, but you saw last week Peter Onjack get into some lap traffic, but going to keep it good here today. So Haynes got past that 18 now, so Haynes maybe starting to figure some pace out. He's got 3 trucks ahead, maybe 4 coming out of this turns 3 and 4. Behind them, that 13 and 17 looking to make a move on that 99 Amanda Candamill, teammate of the 13. Maybe hold him up there, use him as a pick, and actually that might actually happen here. Now the 13 looks to the inside. He's got his teammate helping him ahead, But does Cannonball take the high line, or does he? He's going to take the high line, which is going to block off Stapleton. So now he's going to allow his teammate, Patrick Findrop, to get to the inside. But Stapleton moves on that outside, and now that 13 is going to lose a lot of pace. He's going to have that 77 of Jerry Chin and the 19 of Ryan Little battling with him, and he's going to get the drive off the corner in that middle. So great run there, but now that 19 is going to fall back behind that 77, it looks like, but that 7 and 71 are lurking behind. Laudenbach and Vittori have been able to drive their way throughout this race, but it doesn't look like they're going to have a race-winning pace. Now Haynes looking to the inside of Reggie Fogelman, so that's another truck he's picking off now, but if you look ahead, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks he's now going to have to pass to get to that 38. So looks like another race is going to be a battle of who can get through the live traffic and get that clean air to catch up. But that 45 of Haynes, if we're being honest, he's had the second fastest truck here today. He just hasn't had the pace that 38 has. And we saw the qualifying lap that 38 said he was fastest from the start of this weekend. On Jack, fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. So it isn't too surprising that he's driving off here from this 45, because the lap he said he was far faster than the rest of the field. So this victory, if they do get it with 25 laps to go as we hit the line, is going to be earned. So it'll be 25 to go in this Ally 400, and Peter Onjak has got the command so far. We haven't seen any cautions in this one. Might be a caution-free race. If it does happen, single file restart, so he's going to have advantage when it comes to that. But Onjak right now got a lot of guys ahead of him, but now he's in that clean air, and you see how fast he's going. He's trying to adapt here. And this 45 has to get around this 98 now. But he's just starting to pick off these trucks, so maybe Brandon Haynes has something left in the tank to catch up to this 38. If you guys enjoy and our Truck Night America, remember to join the Discord and join the community. This has not been one of my best commentary performances here today. I've been scrambling my words off a lot, but there's been some good racing here at Nashville Superspeedway. And now the 45 is going to look to make a pass on this 98 now, so picking off another truck. Got 3 more ahead, all in the line. Can this 45 of Haynes get it done? But Nathan Stapleton, not sure what happened here, but he is falling like a rock. He just lost position to that 71, 19, 99, and 77. And I think the 13 as well. So he fell all the way behind, all the way down to 7. So Stapleton may be having some issues getting through the lap traffic, as he's going to see himself sitting in 7th after being 3rd at one point. But with all this battling behind, that's going to allow Patrick Findrop to close in on this 57 of Rocky D'Angelo. So Findrop's going to like that. He's got a line of trucks ahead, a couple of Fords. He might ask them to move out the way so he can catch up to Haynes, but there's a lot of trucks in between him and Haynes. But you see this 45 of Haynes catching up to that 29, the back of Monica Pato. And if he's able to get past her, he's likely going to be able to get past Jorgensen and Angel Gutierrez. And Gutierrez still struggling. Gutierrez just hasn't quite had the pace this season, unfortunately. One of the most liked drivers in the series, but not quite had it in that number 2 truck. We'll see if they're able to figure it out in the final stretch, but they might already be looking forward towards next season and figuring that stuff out. So now Haynes going to dive to the inside of this 29. 2 more trucks to go, but this 38 is starting to close up on that 75 of Sierra Cooper. Sierra Cooper currently running 23rd. It looks like this number 38 might be able to lap all the way up to 20th here in these final couple laps, but the time is ticking for this 45. Can he figure something out? That 38's been a missile all race long, so it's going to be tough for this 45 team to catch up to that 38 because he's been super fast. We've seen them been on a hot streak these past couple weeks, and it looks like this finally might be the race that they finally get it done, which is crazy to say because with how on Jack's been this season, you think he'd have a race win on the season being a part of that big three we usually see at these speedways. And it's not been the case. He doesn't have a win. The rest of the big three's been getting wins, but he hasn't. So now, closing up on that 2 of Gutierrez. This is the final chuck between him and On Jack. And now On Jack's coming down the pit road here. The final pit stop of this race. Haynes gets past that 2. He doesn't come down the pit road. He's not going to follow that number 38 down this time around. So this could be the race decider in this one, as pit stops are starting here, folks. Take a look down pit road here. On Jack, a couple others are coming down. Does this 45 take it down this time around? It looks like he is. So here comes the 45 of Brandon Haynes down the pit road. So where does he come out? And then as we look throughout the rest of the pack, it looks like Landon Lauterbach's going to run along with his teammate of Jerry Chen. Making a last-ditch effort to try to win this race with 15 laps to go next time around. Well, 16 laps to go next time around. It's going to be close here, folks. Can the 71 and 77 figure something out, or maybe run long and just see what they can do? It's going to be tough, but yeah. See that 38 coming out now? Here comes that. Where is the 45? Here is the 45 of Brandon Haynes coming off the pit road. But we'll see how it plays out. Come back around. Looks like the 5 of David Dixon now has the lead. But he's probably coming off the pit road, I'd assume. See the leaderboard update here. Let's see who comes out with the lead. As next time around, it's going to be 15 to go in this race. So, wow, what a pit stop by the 71 team. They ran long, and it almost worked. But now that 38 of On Jack's going to have a huge lead ahead of everyone else. Because I don't know where that 41 in them are, but they're likely on pit road and they're making their final stops of the day. But I think it is going to be, oh, here we go. This is actually going to be something to look out for, but I think they already are way past them, yeah. So now that 45 is going to be sitting second currently, but look at the amount of trucks he has in between them. It is going to be the 38 of Peter Onjak's race to lose in this moment. So what a stop by that 71 team. They get their driver Landon Lauterbach all the way up to third in this race. And maybe even second if he can catch up to that number 45 of Brandon Haynes. I am not identifying these guys right here in this race, but Jerry Chen, he's all the way up to fourth as well. So they ran long. Maybe if they ran a lap longer there, they might even be even more in a comfortable position. But look at Patrick Findrop getting past this lap traffic here. He wants to rebound now and maybe get his third place back. Oh, and look at Haynes. Gets past 2 trucks. He's got about 4 more trucks, maybe even 5 now. But this lap traffic now, they have not adapted, and this one is, these guys are flying past them now. But that, Haynes made a 2-for-1 there, so he is still fighting. But it looks like he's going to be finishing top 3 another week, and he's going to be finishing second here today. As next time, well, in 2 laps time, it's going to be 10 to go, and it might be all but over. Yeah, now working to the inside of Angel Gutierrez once again. He's going to get the pass off. He's going to have to pass Monica Pato one more time. That 71 of Landon Lauterbach still behind him, trying to track him down. So Lauterbach, if he gets second here today, what a rebound performance, starting 28th, I think it was. So at 71, we said they were second fastest in practice, and they're proving it here today. Oh, nearly contact between that 27 and 42, which could have set up probably the final restart in this race. It's going to be single file restarts, though, for Nashville. So, yeah, that would have been very interesting. Forgot to load up better cautions EXE, so this race would be a single file restart, but look at the time this 38 is gaining on that 88 Clinton Buchanan, who started dead last up to 19th, so good performance, but it's unfortunately going to fall victim and become a lap down in this one. And yeah, now Haynes working on the 11 of Bajorn for Jordan, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late, because he's now able to get past the lap traffic, but that 38 pitting one lap before and making that undercut looks like it is going to be the difference maker in this race. As if that 45, I don't know, maybe came in when he made that pass, but he was working with lap traffic there, so that would have been a last minute call. But it looks like he likely should have pitted with that 38 or something to get something figured out, because that 45 team on pit road has been fast here today, but maybe even running long. I mean, I don't know if you could stop this 38 from winning. And it looks like he might lap all the way up to maybe even Adrian Gill sitting in 15th here today. That 38 is it's not gonna happen to Gill. Looks like his 38, 33 might be the last truck he laps here today. But what a missile this 38 has been this past couple weeks. It's just a great performance this last month and a half, finishing second in the last three out of 4 races. Maybe had luck on his side here today with that 71 and 92 not starting too well, but you can't discredit a guy because others didn't show up to perform in every stage of this week. So, still a great all-out performance, but you see, the 77 Jerry Chen just got passed by Ryan Little, and now he's got Nathan Stapleton threatening as well. Vittoria running that outside line, and it's not going to work for him, as now Stapleton's going to get past him for 7th, it looks like, and Stapleton might be working on the 77 of Jerry Chen as well. So some very close racing. Carl Young involved in this one too. He's a lap down though. Young sitting on that cutoff line. It looks like he might be out of it, off it, and just who knows where, probably sitting 16th or whatever. But this 17 and Nathan Stapleton's looking to get a 3-for-1. A 2-for-1 with that 19, but he's not going to quite get it done. 4 laps to go at the line. Well, 4 laps to go that time around, but now look at 19 Ryan Little driving away. But yeah, it will be 4 laps to go at the line. So, looks like Ryan Little might get a top 5 after such a terrible wreck last week. Will he catch back up front? That 71 working on that 11 now. But it looks like he's going to be not fast enough to catch up to that 45. But as we go up ahead, that 38 of On Jack, next time around, it's going to be 3 to go at the line. Led every lap of this race. I mean, well, probably not every lap of this race because of the pit cycle, but every lap without the pit cycle in this race. He's just been on a tear. He's going to get the most laps led in this one. And just a flat-out dominant performance at Nashville. We see how similar it is to Rockingham. He got the pole at that race. Got the pole here today. He's going to be the 3rd guy as we come to 2 to go to likely win from pole. We've seen Landon Lineback do it twice this season at Texas and Charlotte. But it looks like it's the 38th time to finally get in the win book and get that 38 in victory lane. So coming to the white flag, 1 more to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank and the Ally 400. And now this 38 just can just cruise to the line. We mentioned it. It's finished second in the last 3 out of 4 races. Been a bridesmaid one too many times. But it looks like luck has finally fell on this 38 team after being on the cutoff line a couple months ago. But they finally stepped up to the challenge. And coming out of turns 3 and 4, Peter Onjak is going to win the Ally 400. what a great performance by that team. Peter Onjak just so fast, and coming in second, it's going to be Brandon Haynes. He's turning in the right direction. Right behind him, Landon Lotta back in third. Fourth, Patrick Findrop. Fifth, it looks like it'll be Ryan Little likely. But man, oh man, what a great race. And man, what a great win by that 38 team. He's going to bring it around the track. He's going to burn it down, folks. And just a well-earned victory, but yeah, he's going to bring it around and he's going to bring it down, folks, and we'll come back for our race results. And now taking a look at your finishing results in this race. I don't have a graphic for this tonight, folks, but Peter Onjak gets the most laps led award with 68 laps led, so he really dominated this race. 75 laps around here at Nashville. Starting to move to shorter races, but Onjak and Brandon Haynes stood out in this race as they both finished where they started. But Landon Lotta jumping all the way from 29th to 3rd. They really aced the pit strategy at the end, running long with his team at a Jerry 10. I think if they ran even longer, then maybe could even jump this 38. But that was fun to see that strategy work out. Patrick Findrop gained one position off the start. So does Ryan Little. So those two have some good runs. Nathan Stapleton, we saw him fall off in that last final run there, losing a couple positions, but he does take it home. Does come home in 6th, and Sanjo Vittoria comes home in 7th. He drove his way through the field as well after starting behind. So Laudenbach and Vittoria do get through the field, despite starting pretty bad. And then behind them, Matthew Hubert finishes 8th after starting 4th. Not the greatest performance by that 7 team. I thought they could have done way better, but unfortunately it was the 7 team's day. But Hubert and that Spire team are very fast. Chen behind them. Chen always fast too, finishes 9th. Davenport gets another top 10 out of Speedway. That 43 team starting to trend their ways upwards, but they still struggle at some tracks and have a lot of DNFs on their record. Nicholas Torres finishes pretty much where he started as well. Rogel Doran finishes 12th. Doran and that McNally Racing Machine, they get it finally figured out, and they stick in that position. We waited all season for Doran. Well, not waited all season. The past couple races, we waited for Doran to finally get back into his element, and tonight could have been that night. David Dixon as well. He dropped a couple places, but still finishing 13th. That's still good points. Travis Rollin maintained a spot pretty well. So pretty chalk race, you know. Not a lot of guys lost their positions, but Ayers, Gale, Wallace, they all pretty much stayed the same. Some guys jumped all the way up. Look at Clinton Buchanan, who started last. He jumps all the way up, but a good bunch of guys lapped down. That's what happens with the pit strategy, and just guys not being able to keep up. But a few dropped down a lot. Manny Campbell Jr., Matt Morley, they all have terrible finishes. Morley's having a big fall off. Carl Young on the cutoff line. That's not something you want to see. But nobody DNF'd in this race, so that is a positive after a couple DNFs we've seen in the latter weeks. A caution-free race at Nashville. Maybe not the most eventful, but we will have those type of races. Tyreek McLean comes home on the 21st. But yeah, so a couple guys drive their way through, a couple guys fall. So it was a very, I don't want to say underwhelming race, but it wasn't as, I guess you could say, as eventful as some would have thought. But that is going to be how some races are in our Truck Night America. Some of them are going to be a little bit boring, and that could have been the case today. Peter Onjak still put on a great performance. We saw that battle between him and Brandon Haynes throughout the race. Those two figured out. We saw that 71 and 92 drive the way up through the field. That was something fun to watch as well. But that 38 and 45 are heating up at the right time, and Haynes might be on the cutoff line after this race, so we'll see how it goes for him. But there's some huge improvements being made by some of these teams, especially that 38 team after finishing second in 3 of the last 4 races. But they finally get the win on the record, and they're trending upwards as the chase closes in. And maybe it's the 38's time to possibly look like the championship favorite if Landon Lodenbach. Well, Landon Lodenbach I would say is a championship favorite. That 92's still been struggling these past couple weeks, but I would say that 71 and 38, they are the current 2 championship favorites as they're performing really well. So thank you all for watching in our Truck Night America. Sorry for a little bit of shaky commentary here today. Follow my words off a lot, but we should be better next week as we go to Mexico City for another road course and a new road course. So we'll see if our road course ringers stand out next week, but that's going to be all from NR Truck Night America. It's going to be Charlie Davenport signing off. Have a good night, folks. See you next weekend, next Sunday night at Mexico City.